I said, welcome everyone. Thanks so much for spending this evening with me. I do want to try to keep it to an hour. I respect your time, but this is very exciting. It's something that I'm excited to share with you. I wanted the right forum to do it. This is really the first time that I've shared this information with my meetup group, as well as my Facebook group, and then the people that I partner with in real estate. So as you probably know, and you can see on my bio there, I am a real estate investor, but I didn't start out that way. I was a teacher and coach. I was blessed enough to become the VP of sales of the divisions of 3 different publishing companies during my career. And in 2008, one of the publishing companies that I worked with, they let 300 people go all at the same time, including myself and my staff, and really just kind of rolled our division into another one. And that was really a rude awakening. I started doing real estate full time, and I've been a full-time real estate investor for quite some time now, quite a few years. I don't know the exact number of deals I've done, but I always say it this way. I just thank God and praise God for every one of those deals. And also, I'm a licensed broker now. I currently are working on flipping properties. Over the last year or so, I've worked on as many as 9 at a time. Currently, I think we're working on 6 of them, and one of them should close within the next couple of weeks. My contact information is there at the bottom, including my personal cell number and my hours. So what I'd like to go through today is talk about, because you know me as a real estate investor, and if you've been on my YouTube channel or anything else, you'll see that. But why do most people want to be real estate investors? So the people that want to become a real estate investor, people that I talk to all the time, as well as myself, there's certain things that people want to get out of being a real estate investor. It's not so much that they want to own a building as much as they want the benefits they think that they can derive from owning a building or flipping houses. What they want to be able to do is set their own schedule. And you ask yourself if these don't resonate with you. Set your own schedule, earn leveraged income, be financially free, create their own lifestyle or the lifestyle of their dreams, contribute and give back to others, be admired and respected for their accomplishments, and plug into a proven system. Those are major reasons why people want to become real estate investors, and they were very compelling to me as well. How does real estate accomplish all of these goals? Well, we always call it the ideal investment or the ideal opportunity. And the acronym of that, the I, stands for income. So income could be derived by flipping properties, renting properties, wholesaling properties. That's the income we think about when you think about being a real estate investor. There's also the D, very important, deductions, because it doesn't matter how much you make, it really matters on how much you can keep. So deductions is very favorable when it comes to a real estate investor and business owner. There's hundreds of tax deductions that you are eligible for a business owner and or real estate investor that you do not qualify as a W-2 employee. The E stands for equity. So equity that you gain when you buy a property below market value, or when you buy a property and start paying the debt down, whether that's you paying the debt or your renter paying the debt, equity is one of the things that attracts people to become real estate investors. The A is appreciation. So you can't bank on appreciation, but it's awfully nice when it happens. It's pretty well established that the appreciation of property have gone up 5% per year if you look at any 25-year span. So, maybe this year it doesn't go up 5%, or maybe it goes up more than 5%, or maybe, 2008 it went down, 2009 it went down. But if you look at a 20-year span, it's pretty well accepted that real estate's gone up about 5% a year. So that's another thing that's very attractive to people, why they want to be real estate investors. And then the L, very important, leverage. Real estate is something that you can leverage probably better than almost any other asset you can acquire. What I mean by leverage is that you're not using all your own money, or you're not using all your own credit. I do most of my real estate through partnerships. I also do some from private money lending. So think about it. If you had a great opportunity in the stock market, you went to your bank, if you had good credit, good income, good work history, and you go to your banker and say, listen, I'd like to borrow $100,000 to put into the stock market, they'd probably laugh you out of the door, right? Because it's, quote, unsecured. They don't see the stock as being secured. But if you had good income, good credit, good work history, and you wanted to buy a house that was worth $120,000, they would give you $100,000 for that all day long. So leverage is very important. So think about these things in terms of a traditional real estate investing. What I'm going to propose to you tonight is that there's a paradigm shift occurring in the real estate industry that provides another ideal opportunity to accomplish these same results. So that ideal investment, I want to show you, and I'm going to go back to the screen in more detail. I just want to expose you to it at this time, and I'm going to tell you how. What is this paradigm shift? What is this that's giving us an opportunity to do the same type of things as a person seeking to be a real estate investor would benefit from? Here it is. Here's what I see as the opportunity that I want to share with you, and I'm excited about sharing with you tonight. It's an industry disruptors. So what are industry disruptors? That's when a company, an opportunity, a movement comes in and changes an industry. If you look at years ago, it wasn't even that long ago, Blockbuster dominated the movie rental business. I remember taking my son almost every weekend going to Blockbuster to pick out his movie, right? And Blockbuster was like the king of the industry. They're the largest in the country at that time. And then there was a little company came out called Netflix. In fact, as I've learned recently, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix, but Blockbuster didn't see it as a threat, didn't see it as an advantageous acquisition, so they passed on it. And this little company called Netflix years later caused Blockbuster to file for bankruptcy, only a couple years after Netflix really hit a nationwide acceptance. So what was the disruptor? The disruptor was technology. Disruptor was coming up with a better way to provide movies and games than what was in the brick and mortar stores that people had to go to. Not only did it change how people rented movies, but it also produced other wealth. Just think about the other things that Netflix has done. Now even the movie industry, they don't have to go out to theaters all the time. They don't have to go and get outside sometimes production. Netflix are actually producing their own, their own studios. They have their own series and things like that. So that's a perfect example of what an industry disruptor is. Look at Amazon. I mean, it doesn't take much to think about all the stores that have gone out of business, retail stores that have gone out of business since the success of Amazon. So again, they use technology and distribution to disrupt the industry of retail. So Circuit City was one well-established company. Again, you don't see them out anymore. So how does that apply to real estate and the real estate industry? Well, think about traditional brokers right now. Think about your, Keller Williams, your Century 21, your Remax. Look at all of the business models that they have. It's a brick and mortar, decentralized offices. I mean, think about how many real estate offices there are. Just whatever town you live in. You live in a small suburb. Think of all the real estate offices that are there, and they are all paying overhead, right? They're paying for the building that they're in. They're paying the insurance on the building. They're paying the utilities on the building. That is sucking out profit that otherwise could be distributed elsewhere. So the company that's disrupting that industry right now is called eXp Realty. How are they disrupting the industry? Is they're taking the model of using technology to be able to support a nationwide sales force of brokers, and they can do it in a centralized manner rather than a decentralized manner that is expensive. So they have created something called eXp World, where you're right, it looks like a video game. These are avatars, they're called. So I have created with this company an avatar, and I can go into meetings. I can walk into, they have a campus. It's very, very, futuristic as far as the technology goes. This company that created this is called Verbella, and that the CEO of EXP was so impressed with this technology in this company, they end up buying the company. So now EXP International actually owns the company that produces this technology. And as you can well imagine, over the last couple months, the growth of this technology company has just exploded, because think about it, everybody wants to meet virtually now. They want to have alternatives to going into the offices. They're getting contracts from schools that want to come up with virtual campuses, companies that want virtual offices, meeting rooms, renting out meeting rooms. So this disruption into the real estate brokerage model is creating tremendous opportunity. So with this decentralized model, then you don't have these, franchises, 2 or 3 franchises in every every suburbs. You don't have all that overhead. It's not confined locally. It becomes globally now. You don't have the limited technology support of just one little office. Instead, you have on the EXP side there, you have the cloud environment, you have live training. They have over 50 hours of online education training every single week. They have real-time support. They have international collaboration and powerful equity opportunities. So let's look at the growth. Look at the growth of this company. So as you can look back, just as not even that long ago, 2014, they only had a few hundred agents. All of a sudden now in June of this year, June 3rd, they have over 30,000 agents. Look what it did last year. I believe at the end of last year, they had about 25,000. They're already up to 30,000 agents. So this should get your attention. You should think about the opportunity. Somebody is going to be making a tremendous amount of money with this interruption to this traditional real estate broker model. So this company is not just in the US. They've already expanded to Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. And their plan is to be global. Their plan is to be in every country in the world. What's exciting about people that are involved in the company now is basically they could build a sales force throughout the entire world of thousands of brokers and agents because of this business model. Let's go back to that ideal opportunity again. The reason why most people are real estate investors, the reason that I'm a real estate investor and will always be a real estate investor. But now let's apply that ideal opportunity to what I just exposed you to. So income, if you think about income now, this brokerage provides income through commissions, traditional sales, buy and selling transactions of real estate. Think how many transactions of real estate are happening all around us every single day. There's also an opportunity, and I have in quotes, wholesaling, because technically it's not wholesaling of a contract, but you can actually get a property under a contract, not a purchase contract, but a listing contract, an agreement. Then you can take it to one of EXP's iBuyers. They're institutional buyers that are buying flip properties and rental properties all over the country. If it fits their criteria, you can, quote, wholesale it to an iBuyer and get paid on it. Plus, if that iBuyer decides to flip the property, you would get the listing on the flip once it's all rehabbed and ready to go. So income is easy to see with this opportunity. What about deductions? Well, as a business owner, you'll have all of those tax deductions. The only one I can't think of that you wouldn't have is depreciation of a building, because you don't have to own a building in order to take advantage of this opportunity. What about equity, right? That's why a lot of people get involved in real estate, is for equity. This company is very unique. So our brokers are actually stockholders. They are owners of the company. They have an equity position in this international company. Every time, or once a year, when you first buy, you do your first transaction of every year, you are issued stock by the company. So you are an owner, a shareholder. Also, anybody that you sponsor into the brokerage, when they do their first deal, you also earn stock off of their transaction. And third, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but there's a status called icon. And when you reach this icon status, which is a performance level, you actually get all the money that was paid into the brokerage on your split. You get all that money back in stock. And that cap is what they call it, is 16,000. So after paying 16,000 into the brokerage for your split, you reach icon level and the 16,000 comes back to you in stock. And another way to get equity position or ownership in the company in stock is every transaction, every closing that you do, you can actually purchase 5%. You can use 5% of that commission towards buying stock at a 10% discount. That's like a 10% increase immediately. Even if the stock price stayed exactly the same, that would be a 10% on your money right from day one. And then what about appreciation? Well, just like real estate, you can't predict appreciation of a company's stock. But I will point out this, and what's very exciting is just within the last few months, the stock has gone from about $10 a share to $17 a share. That's a 70% increase in about 6 months. Now, obviously, here's where the disclaimer comes in. This is just an example. The history is no guarantee of the future, but this should get your attention that something is up here. Something is happening with this disruptor in this industry. And the last thing is leverage. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know about some of this other stuff. That's why I got involved in the company. I myself was going to start, I've been a real estate broker for years. Real estate investor for years. I knew that there would be some advantages to being a broker to my investment business. However, I wanted kind of the perfect brokerage, right? I didn't want to just join any other brokerage. I wanted it to help my real estate investing business. Plus, I wanted a plan where I could enroll other brokers, get an override. They could enroll other brokers and get an override, and they could enroll other brokers and get an override. I had this whole business model planned in my mind. I've got the LLC set up, and then somebody, Neitson Roland, invited me to a webinar about this company. And I was already sure that I was going to do my own thing. But I thought, you know what, as a friend, as a favor to Neitson Roland, I'll at least listen to him. And if nothing else, I'll pick up some tips that I can use into my brokerage when I create my own brokerage. So I thought, there's no downside to investing the time. What surprised me is the more I heard about what this company already had implemented and was already doing, I was like, why would I reinvent the wheel? In fact, I can't even reinvent this wheel. It would take me years and years to do what they have done with the infrastructure and the training piece, which is already done. So why would I open up a brick and mortar office when that's the past? This is all the future. All the online technology was over and above what I ever had dreamed that I could ever even think about doing. So let's focus on that leverage piece. Okay, this is what got me excited. All right. So I know this all looks foreign to you. I just want to explain it really, really quickly and simply. And that is that when someone joins this brokerage, when they sponsor somebody else into the brokerage, that's on their tier 1. When those people sponsor someone, that's on their tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. If you can look at my cursor where I'm pointing, this first column here, that's a percent of the commissions that you override on the people that you bring into the company or that they bring into the company. So that's a small part that you get with no other qualifications other than you brought them in or the person you brought in brought those people in and so forth. But here's where the real exciting part goes. This exponential share over here, there are some qualifications to this, but the upside is unbelievable. So everybody will get this 3.5% override when they have 0 to 4 people that they personally sponsored into the brokerage, right? Once it hits 5, now that unlocks the second tier. Now everyone in this first level that then brings people into the brokerage, you're going to override another 3.8% in addition to the 0.2%. So that's 4% total. Here's what's interesting, and it kind of talks about the culture. If I bring somebody in and help them, I'm getting 3.5% override. But if I help them bring somebody in, I'm actually getting 4%. I'm actually getting more on their person than even my person. So again, the culture is to help each other out. I've never seen the help and support in any other company like I have in this. And here's why. Think about this for a second. You're getting the help and support from people in your organization. You can understand that because they're overriding commissions, right? But here's the other thing. They're also owners of the company. Since they're owners of the company, even if you're not in their organization, they're helping you become successful because their stock ownership increases. It's like a perfect storm, those two things coming together. So here's the number of people that you need to sponsor to open up these levels. The top is 40. If you personally, or when you personally sponsor 40 people into the brokerage, then you're going to override all 7 levels deep and get the maximum payout, okay? So I don't know about you, but I'm a numbers guy. I want to see numbers. I want to see, okay, what is the potential, right? I understand those numbers. It sounds good, but what's realistic and what are the potentials? So stay with me and I'll show you some best case, some worst case, see what you think. So putting some numbers to this. So if I go out and get 5 people to join the brokerage, right? And again, that's nationally. I can get 5 people in any state, doesn't matter. I don't have to be licensed in every state. Sarah, you're going to hear from later on, she's in Florida. I'm not licensed in Florida, but she's on my team. I was able to sponsor Sarah. So if I just sponsor 5 people, aren't those 5 people going to want to also unlock their level 2? So they're going to be incentivized to go out and get 5 people to unlock level 2. Well, now I have 5 on my first level, 5 on my second level. Now, if these agents are really good, and I'm going to first give you the best case scenario. If these agents are good, they're going to do what's called capping. Capping means that they've produced $80,000 in commissions. And 16 of that is going towards their cap and payouts. So of that, every capping, if these were all capping brokers, good brokers that I brought into the company, I'd make $2,800 a year on each one of them. That would be 14,000 overrides. But look it down at the second level. The second level would be 3,200 per capping agent, broker. By the way, some of you people are not in Illinois. Illinois, we have brokers and managing brokers. Other states, you may have agents and brokers. So that's just a clarification on the terminology. So 25 people at 3,200, that's 80,000. Now your annual overrides are $94,000 a year. That's in addition to your own personal sales. So if you're a capping broker as well, you're going to make $64,000. You're going to keep of the 80,000 that you generated. You're going to keep 64,000 of that. Add that 64,000 on to the 94,000. That's what got me excited. And these are only 2 levels deep. So you might say, those are good brokers. What about if only half of them cap? Or all of them only halfway to the cap? Now they're only producing $40,000 revenue. Again, on your cap, the amount that you would earn would be $1,400. So you get 7,000 on the first level, 40,000 on the second level, 47,000 in annual income. And I would say that residual, because as long as they stay with the broker and keep producing, you could sponsor an agent in today, and in 30 years, you could still be getting paid on them every single year, as long as you stayed with EXP and they stayed with EXP. So 47,000 residual income produced with this scenario. All right, now let's dream a little bigger. All right. So I want to make sure I release my 3 levels. I don't want to just release my first 2 levels or 2 tiers. I want to release 3 tiers. So what if we do that? What if we build a team of people? This is what I want to do. Anybody on here that wants to join the team, this is my goal, to help everyone get 10 brokers, all right, in your organization. So I want to get 10. That releases 3 levels. I want to help them get 10, so that could release their 3 levels, and I want the next level to get 10, all right? So just by doing this with capping brokers, this is not, I've checked the math 2 or 3 times, all right? So you would make $2.3 million annually, when you have an organization with 10 who get 10 who get 10, and they all cap. And again, you're probably saying, well, they're not all going to cap. Well, let's take half of that. You know, you're at 1.1, almost 1.2 million with the same scenario, even if only half of them cap or they're only half a cap. So in other words, instead of earning 80,000, your average broker, instead of bringing in 80,000 a year in commissions, are only bringing in 40,000 a year in commissions. That's very reasonable. The numbers, it's over $1 million. I did not want to take away from my real estate investing business and direct my time and attention somewhere else unless it had this type of potential. You want to dream a little more? All right. Here's a great quote. This is an architect. He helped rebuild Chicago after the Chicago fire destroyed big part of downtown. I love just the first part. You hear this quoted a lot. Make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood. So I am making no little plans when it comes to my brokerage and the team, people that want to be a part of the team that grow. I want to release all 7 tiers. In order to do that, I need to get 40 brokers personally sponsored, whether it takes me a year, 2 years to do this, whatever. But I need to get 40. I want you to look at the screen and look at the math. This is me getting 40. That's tier 1. But it's everyone after that only getting 2. I'm getting 40. And if everyone on my team throughout my organization only gets 2 brokers into our team, it adds up to almost $7.2 million a year. And this is at half a cap. This is if the brokers aren't even that good, right? This is, I'd say, below average brokers, right? Look at the potential. This is why I thought it was worth at least exposing. Listen, if you're on this and this is not for you, I get it. You got a full-time 9 to 5. There's no way your spouse could get involved. I get it. But I would feel guilty if in a couple of years you came to me and said, Randy, why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't you at least give me the opportunity? Why did you judge me that I wouldn't be interested? You're exposed to it now. The possibility is almost scary good, the potential that you can do. And you might say, well, that's not going to happen. Think of this. All this, if I add up how many brokers are on this, we've got about 3,000, 4,000. We've got about 5,000 brokers here. This is already happening. We have 30,000 brokers. In theory, you may have 6 people already accomplishing this, right? So that's the potential that I wanted to expose you to, and you can see my excitement. And what I'd like to do now is I'm going to stop sharing. I think I'll probably have to do that in order to bring some people on here. Let me stop sharing for now. All right. I want to bring out, who's the first one on that list? I think I had Nitsa going and Roland going first, right? What I'd like to do is just talk to a few people. And I want to look at this from an investor standpoint. I know most of you people on this line are either investors or you want to be investors. Many of you, we've been involved in the same investor program, which I think is an outstanding program. If you want to be an investor, we've got the training program for you. So I wanted to look at people's experience as it pertains to investing. So the first person of people I want to talk to is Roland and Nitsa, because they were real estate investors and brokers, own their own brokerage. And I want to get from their perspective, why did you decide to go to EXP, and how does that fit with your current real estate investing and brokerage model? So come on out. I'll unmute you here. I think I can do it. Nope, it's not unmuting you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. Well, we were real estate investors, and I've had this firm. Like, I'm hearing myself here. Okay. We have Front Door Realty. I opened that up I started doing real estate in 2005, opened up Front Door Realty because I wanted to work for myself. In 2012, my wife was still working her full-time job, but she'll speak about her here in a minute. And the situation with the real estate is I kept building it and training people and working full time with the forms and keeping everybody on track and keeping everybody legal. And then they would leave. And here I have to do the same thing again and again and again. So finally, and it turns out that if I were ever to sell Front Door Realty to somebody, it's only as good as us too. That's the whole business. And I said, well, what am I doing this for, all this time if I'm not really building anything? And so that's when we saw with Dan and Sean and Gil, I sat down with them in Orlando and they explained to me the model. And I says, this is perfect because it allows me to bring somebody on, mentor them, but I have the mentorship of EXP. Everything's online. All the education, any questions. If I'm not there, they can get the questions answered. Everybody in EXP, we have the Facebook, and you can ask a question to anybody, and they'll answer it. So the support is there. And so and they also have the opportunity to build their own groups, just like I have the opportunity as a managing broker. So it gives them that incentive. Also, so you're building something. You're building something that has substance and has foundation and something for the future and something that's going to be there, forever. So that was my main thing. And also now it freed me up, even though I'm here to support and to mentor, but it freed me up to continue the other business, which was the investing and the long term too. So because everything, if I'm not available at that moment, there's somebody there. There's some education that you can put them on. I'm not there looking at all the paperwork. They have a system that'll do that. You upload it and they'll look it over. And if you make a mistake, they say, hey, fix this or get that initial or something like that. Everything is it's virtual and online, and even corporate has support too. So that freed me up to do everything that I want to do, build the investing, build the real estate, and also help others, build their dream too, and at whatever level they can come in.
So with me, when Roland first came to me, the meeting took place between the guy in Florida, and I wasn't there when he planted the information to me. I was hesitant because he built this brick and mortar. We just had a small brick and mortar office, and it was just we started to grow, but at a pace that we would train several people, and they would go to the Keller Williams, to the Beard and Warner, to the Prudentials after they got the training from us. And so I saw him as getting worn out all the time with the training and the training. So when he showed me the model, I was impressed. Like Randy, I looked into it. Being a federal employee, I looked into everything. And I want to make sure that this was actually correct, right? But it really impressed me. One of the reasons, it not only, I said, well, this must be an omen. They had the identical colors that we had. And I was like, boy, this must be something great. But the fact that this person has been thinking, that our CEO has been thinking about growing this model for so many years, and eventually he made it possible. He put the agent on top and no longer was the agent at the bottom getting the commissions. At 80% commission, it's amazing what he is doing. But even further yet, when someone sells a property, that commission that you're getting in the stock comes from the company side. And that impressed me so much that he took the time to value the agents wherever they were coming from and share his portion of whatever he was getting with the agents to include stock. And I said, it can't be, he's also giving us stock, right? And he says, yes, we're getting stock. So yes, it's incredible. The virtual world, when I first became an avatar, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't manage it. And I was one that was always telling my grandkids, get off of the computer with that, whatever you're doing. And I had to go and ask them, help me here, right? So that whole situation was totally amazing. The stock, everything they have, right, is like one thing after another. And the more I learn about them, the more it keeps coming back. The training, my goodness, over 50 hours, anytime, at any time you want, you go in the library, you can go into the campus. We have our meetings, we meet each other. It just goes on and on and on, the many, many benefits that we have. And guess what? Health care.
I was just gonna say that.
Health care. Like really, my daughter is excited about joining because she is paying over $600 for her and her children health care. So she's going to be joining us, and my grandson just became a realtor himself. So it's just growing in the family, right?
Do you know how many people are on your team since you joined?
Gosh, I'm a person that doesn't count things, but because I wanted to continue to grow. But I think we've got 15 now. 15.
I think 15, and then we have people taking their tests that are already committed to us.
Yeah.
That's at least another 12 to 15 more people.
And of course, Randy is on our team, and Sarah is on our team, and we're part of, I am on Roland's team. And look at this. Wife, I get stock, and he gets stock too from the sales I create.
Yeah, little double dipping. Yeah.
We double dip.
Great, good for you. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'd like to bring Dan out. Dan is from Florida. He'll introduce himself. Dan, kind of the same thing. So Dan's perspective, I wanted somebody on there that has no real estate investing experience at all and was actually new to real estate entirely to the industry just a couple years ago. And the success is phenomenal. And so Dan, come on out and tell the group a little bit about yourself and what's happened since you joined.
Well, folks, I guess I'm here as the poster child of showing you how simply it can be done when you just plug in, right? So a little background on me is I went to school. I started as an aerospace engineer and quickly got bored at college with that. Nothing wrong with it, just not my lifestyle. But fast forward, I was running a restaurant group, working 70 hours a week, watching everybody else, all the owners make all the money, thinking to myself, what am I doing? And my sister-in-law had been telling me for quite some time, you need to get into real estate. You know everybody. Let's get you plugged in. And I was like, nah, I'm done with 100% commission jobs. I can't do them anymore. It's just, I'm comfortable. And I got so comfortable that one day my wife came to pick me up. I remember exactly where we were. I had just dropped off my motorcycle to get it fixed at the shop. And she picks me up and she's got this sour look on her face. And I said, what's up with you? And she says, my sister just made the 100K club. I was like, wait, your sister, who I've never seen never seen her work a day in her life, made $100,000 selling real estate. And she took 5 vacations that we know of. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, this is ridiculous. That Monday morning, that was a Friday. Monday morning, I woke up, looked at my wife, and I said, do you trust me? And she said, yeah, why? And I said, I quit. And she's like, what do you mean you quit? And I was like, I quit my job. I took my severance pay. I got my dividends. I sold my shares in that company because I own part of that company. And she said, what are you going to do? I said, I already signed up for the real estate course. I'm going to start taking it online. And she goes, well, where are you going to go? I said, well, your sister would kill me if I went anywhere else other than her office. So I'm going to go there. And luckily they had free lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the trainings with me, with food. You can get me anywhere with a free lunch, I'll tell you. But you know what got me staying there was the way that they poured into us. And to be quite honest, when I first joined real estate, we weren't with this company. We were with Exit. We were actually the #1 exit brokerage in the state of Florida 4 years running. And I remember the moment that this all started taking a change because at Exit, we were 70-30. That was our split. And they have a very similar model. They only pay out one level below. So if I brought in Roland, right, I would get paid off Roland, but I wouldn't get paid off Nitsa or Randy or Sarah or anybody else for that matter. So it's a great model, but our company took it a little bit further. But the cool part was that one day our broker at the time, he stood in front of us at a sales meeting that December. And I remember he said, next year, I'm going to pay you all more. And I was like, either he's lying. I was like, or something's changing because there's no way he's locked in a franchise agreement. He can't pay us more. And so I guess I was one of a handful of people that said, Gil, how are you going to do this? How are you going to pull this off? And so he said, hey, take a secret trip with me to Scottsdale, Arizona. There's a few of us going. We're going to go check out this new model. And it was like an aha moment when we got there because, it was basically exactly what Randy had presented to everybody, right? Something very similar. But I'm a guy that's like, okay, how realistic can we do this, right? Is there any extras that I got to do? What else do I got to change? And realistically, nothing changed. I still sell real estate. There's just a lot of other revenues, streams of revenue coming in, right? Because EXP realized something that was really neat in the real estate industry, and it's that it's actually not neat. It's very sad. It's that an agent or a broker or a managing broker are only as good as their last or next transaction, right? That's it. That's all you've got. So they were like, how are we going to help people for life, right? How are we going to help their families? How are we going to help them grow and get to more sales? So they devised this plan, right? And it worked. And to be quite honest, I can go on for days about it. And I know we're kind of like running close on time, but I sat there in this room with a gentleman, Jake Kinner, that you'll all meet at some point in time. He's a fantastic human being. He was the number 2 RE/MAX agent across the entire country, left RE/MAX, started 3 brokerages, and left for this company. And it was for one reason, because he couldn't help his agents anymore on such a small platform. What he did was he basically took his platform and said, hey, these guys figured it out. I'm going to plug them into that. And then I can really give them it, right? What Roland was just saying, which is I could only help them so much and then they'd leave because they didn't need me anymore because I wasn't generating enough revenue for them, right? So what this company did was it allows all of us to plug in. And I guess I'm here for the proof because we just hit 1 year and we're about to hit 100 agents in our organization. And we didn't really change much. You step into most of these meetings and you realistically think, okay, how true can this really be? And to give you guys some perspective of how true this can be is that I've only been doing real estate for 2 years. That's it. I got licensed in 2018. This is no joke. You guys can look me up in the DBPR. You guys in the Florida DBPR. I've only been doing real estate for 2 years. And yes, I love this. I love this career. I really do. But what I really love about this company is that they've got it down to a science. For a time, there were a lot of people asking me when I'm going to start my own team, when I'm going to become a broker and start my own brokerage. And I said, why? I see so many brokers barely make it every year because of the overhead, the liability, the insurance. What happens if an agent I was just talking to a friend of mine. She's an associate broker. She's supposed to take over her brokerage at the end of this year. And she just told me, she's like, I don't know what to do. This transaction just made me realize I don't want to do that. What if one agent messes it all up for me? It's me on the line, not my agent. And so she's like, Dan, help me. And I was like, it's simple. I already have it to you. And her and I are good friends. We've known each other for a decade. I told her, I said, I'm never going to pitch you. But here's what I'm going to tell you is that by plugging in, you don't have to change anything. You're actually making more money, right? And it's because of the stock, right? It's because of the splits. It's because of the opportunities that they are creating. We have an expansion vice president, an EVP, Michael Valdez, used to work for Realogy. And some of those brokerages that Randy just mentioned, Century 21, ERA, Coldwell Banker, they're owned by Realogy. He left them to join us. And we're opening up in 5 new countries in this quarter, in this third quarter. It just got announced last week. And I was like impressed before because we were in the US, Canada, the UK, and Australia. And I was like all excited for the next few countries, but I kind of got disillusioned for a while because I was like, we're talking about it. When is it coming? As soon as he got onboarded, everything changed. We're doing 5 countries this quarter. I had a meeting with him earlier today, and we're working on 4 other countries for Q4 and Q1. So we're looking at 9 countries in the next 7 months. So as Randy said, you don't have to be licensed anywhere else. You just got to know somebody, reach out and have a conversation. And so it's crazy because how these things play out is crazy. And let's go back to some of these numbers that Randy was talking about, right? So to cap in our area, to give you an example, or throughout any of the regions, to cap is typically about 13 deals at $250,000 a home, a property. That's here in Central Florida. Our average price point's around 260, 270, right? So if they're only doing 6 deals a year, so 3 deals every half a year, that's that kind of money that it generates from that. And like Nitsa said, she nailed it on the head. I was actually going to bring this up. My favorite part is that it doesn't affect that agent's pay. It comes from the company side. And the way it functions is real simple. Out of that 80-20 split, the 20% that EXP keeps, they've dedicated a portion, half of it to be exact, to go back to the agents in the form of rev share. They're literally running their company on a 50% profit because they're making partnerships all across the place that generate more money. Because our stock, our publicly traded stock that's on the NASDAQ is actually not based in real estate. It's actually based in technology, like Randy said. Matter of fact, he didn't mention this, but this got announced last week. The reason why our shares jumped from $10 to $17 a share in the last 2 weeks is because Veer Bella, the platform that we own, is now, with coronavirus, it's sold out everywhere. Universities started buying it up like crazy. The military bought it up. The government bought it up for training and communications. And Veer Bella just announced a partnership with HTC, the technology company, for virtual technology. That's the reason why I jumped from 10 to 17. And this is during coronavirus where everything else is tanking. So, it's a multitude of things, because our founder, Glenn Sanford, he just can't sit still. And that's why I love this company. I cannot speak enough about it. I'm obsessed with it. And it really is the real deal. When I sat down in Scottsdale, Arizona, in front of Jay Kinder, the question I asked him, everyone else had a multitude of questions, but as Nitsa did it, I did it, Randy did it. We all did our research in advance. I only had one question for Jay. And I said, Jay, if this is so true, I need to see your bank statements. But he laughed at me. He said, I can't show you my bank statements because I own several other companies as well because of the revenue from EXP. He said, but I can show you our little platform in EXP. It's a little dashboard. It shows you how much I make. And here it is. And he opened it up and he handed it to me. And at the time, this was, mind you, about a year and a half ago, at the time he was making $80,000. And I said, Jay, that's cool. $80,000 a year. Like, I could probably generate that in a few flips. Like, that's not really what I'm looking for. And he said, a year? That's this month. And I was like, what? It was that Wolf of Wall Street moment where I'm just like, I quit. I'm in. Like, I'm sold. And it really, truly was, because I was with him the night that he cracked $100,000. He was here in Orlando for our shareholder summit with the company. And I was with him as it crossed $100,000 for a month. And mind you, this guy's only half a chapter ahead of us, right? I've been with this company for 1 year. He's been with it for just over 2. And so it's not like he's that far ahead. We've been talking about it lately, where when you typically catch a trend like a stock and it's jumping up and it's going like crazy, it's almost too late to invest in it, right? It's cool, but because it's already been caught. This is at a point where we've literally doubled our number of agents and brokers in 1 year. When I started, we were at 16,000 agents. Now we're at 31,000. We've doubled it in 1 year. And we're about to announce 5 more countries, then 4 more after that. It's just a matter of time. And people are leaving in waves. You think of big heavy hitters like Sean Kokoska was his mom developed the Bold training program for KW. He's with us. You got Ricky Carruth with Zero to Diamond, the coaching platform for real estate agents, right? He was the #1 RE/MAX agent nationwide, and he just moved everything over. Matter of fact, you can look Ricky Carruth up. Google him. I urge you to Google him in the YouTube video that he posted about 4 years ago. And it said, why I'll never join EXP. Listen, when I did my research, this is the first video I saw. And he was all against it. And he'll tell you the reason why things change is because this company keeps growing, and it keeps growing with the times. And it's amazing to see where we're going when people who are dead set against it are starting to make moves. Matter of fact, the regional recruiter here for KW in this area for the last year has been doing nothing but talking smack, sending me articles, this and that. Hey, when are you coming to join KW? When are you coming to join KW? I mean, this man's recruited literally 500 plus agents across the last 10 years to KW. And this week he announced that he joined us. And it's making waves because of the things that we're telling you, right? The things that Randy brought up, the things such as the multiple streams of revenue. And there's more streams of revenue, by the way, that he didn't even get to mention, such as our concierge service and a few other things. But that's kind of where I'm at.
I know you could talk forever on it, Dan.
Yeah.
And just hats off to you. I mean, what you've accomplished is amazing. It's inspiring. I want to make sure I get time for Sarah to get on here. I wanted to try to
absolutely
keep an hour. So again, this is not complete training. This is a taste. At the end, I'll invite you what the next step will be. So Sarah's brand new to EXP. I'm excited to have her on our team. She's in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And it gives you the power of this nationwide and international system that I can just sponsor somebody in another state. And it's like opening up a branch office in Clearwater, Florida, just like that. So Sarah, can you come on out and tell us a little bit about your background and just the short period of what's happened since you've been at EXP just the last couple of weeks?
Thank you, Randy. All right, so I actually used to live back in Chicago, which is how I know Randy. And I decided to pack up and move to Clearwater Beach, and so I'm out here. I signed with one of the, typical international big name brokerages that, most people would head towards. And after a couple of months there, I just, I wasn't happy. And thank God, literally, that Randy came into my life again and saved me. He found EXP. I remember he was telling me years ago that he was looking into opening up a brokerage of his own. with a different business model than anything else I've ever heard. And then here comes the XP, and it pretty much fits all of his criteria. And I knew if it fit Randy's criteria, that it would fit mine. For those of you that know Randy well enough, he's meticulous. So nothing will get by him. But anyway, so I'm out here at Clearwater Beach. I work out here with Dan, who's out in Orlando, actually. And I feel like I've been at the office just about all day. It's just constant support, constant feedback. It's just an amazing environment. Actually, Nitsa, you were saying that, when you first logged into the EXP world, that you were shocked about the avatars and stuff. By the time I logged on, you were just waltzing around, giving me the tour. It was so cool to meet her in the world. So it's just, I don't know, it's just amazing. I've only been with them for a couple of weeks, and already I complained about my previous brokerage. I felt like I was getting lost there. Everyone was just kind of cutthroat fighting each other. Here, I'm getting thrown listings. Like, what? And regardless of listings and being a broker or an agent, whatever your state calls you, or whatever you are, if you're involved in real estate, there's no reason not to be involved with EXP, because, Nitsa and Roland are doing it, the double dipping. You might as well just get as much revenue as you can from the one thing you're already getting revenue from. There's no reason not to. So I know it's something I'm looking into doing, investing in real estate. And yeah, so if anyone's trying to get any property on Clearwater Beach, I know someone over there with a fake background of the beach. Let me know if you want to make that dream real.
Right. We will. All right, thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much for coming out.
Cheers.
I'm just going to share my screen. We're almost done here. I just have a couple more slides to show you, and like to continue on here. Let's see. Here's what I've written this, and I've sent it to some brokers. Most people become real estate agents or brokers because they want to be business owners. However, if an agent gets only paid on their personal work, they are self-employed, not business owners. Conversely, a managing broker with a team, they're business owners. Business owners produce income from the efforts of others and or from systems they implement. All right. And this is a question I ask people that are brokers right now, or agents. Would you like to get paid like a managing broker without the liability, the time, the overhead, the risk, and the expense of a managing broker? Now, I won't go into details because I'm going to tell you about the next step, but getting started as a broker, if you're not a broker at all with any company, we can talk about that in more details. What's the cost? But the barrier to entry is so much lower than being a real estate investor. So that's one thing. I've had people in our previous company, our previous training real estate investing company, want to get started as a real estate investor and not have the money to do so. This is another way too, that when someone wants to become a real estate investor and they can't afford to do it and go that tradition or that route, this is another way that I can help people become a successful business person, a business owner, have that ideal opportunity. Remember, have the income just like a real estate investor, have deductions like a real estate investor, have the equity like a real estate investor, right? Have the potential of appreciation like a real estate investor, and having the leverage. The leverage in this business model comes from building a team. That way you're not just getting paid on your own efforts. Once you create a team, help them get acclimated. Once they get trained, help them understand the systems and processes, you can earn income on them year after year after year. That's what business ownership is all about. So if you like what you heard tonight enough to at least go to the next step, the next step is that if you want to find out more about the opportunity, contact the person that invited you to the meeting. I know most of the people on the meeting I invited, but if somebody else invited you to the meeting, get with them. We'll do a one-on-one. We'll give you all the information that you need. And again, I hope, as I say at the end of all my meetings, I just hope that this information is a blessing to you and your family. And just like any big decision, I always ask everybody, pray about it. See if this is the right fit for you. I'm very excited about this opportunity. And we saw the examples of industries that have changed almost overnight and the wealth shift almost overnight from these industry disruptors. Well, EXP is an industry disruptor in real estate. So if you want to be a part of it, I'd love for you to be a part of it. I'd love for you to join our team, and people like Dan and Nitsa and Roland can support you just like they've supported me, like they're supporting Sarah now. So thanks so much for spending this evening with me, and I'd love to hear back from you. And even if it's something you decide not to do, I'd love for your feedback, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, how we can improve this meeting. Because the next thing is, if you've got somebody else that's already a broker, it's easy for them to switch. Like Dan has pointed out, not only have brokers switched over, but entire brokerages, entire offices. One of the largest independent office in the agents in the country in Arizona had 900 agents, and they switched over. So it can happen small, a person at a time, or it can actually happen in a wave where you get an entire company to come over and override an entire brokerage. So again, thanks so much. I hope this is a blessing to you and your family, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.